Podcast for No Reason. Today we'll be discussing Season 4, Episode 2, Leela's Homeworld. My name is Michelle Burlingame. With me are Tommy Roulette.
Hey, how's it going?
And Pete Woodward.
That's me.
Joining us today is returning pal Zachariah Durr. Hi, Zachariah.
Hi. Nice to have you back. And as far as I know, there were no murders broadcast on Facebook today that might take you away from us prematurely. So hopefully you can stick around for the whole episode.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Not today.
Yeah, that was the one time I've ever been called away late at night to work on something, was the night that I was here. And for the listener, if you live in America, you might remember the Facebook murderer, the person who killed one person streaming on Facebook, and suddenly everyone acted as though Jack the Ripper was back, and there was just
He was on
hundreds
your
of
block.
people slaughtered on Facebook, but people went nuts for it, so I had to make videos for it the night they caught him.
Starting off on a super down note, as I was thinking about that today, I'm like, I don't remember any of the names involved in that horrible mess. And you'd think like, oh, this is a really terrible incident in human history. Nope. It just in one ear, out the other, no retention other than sort of the thing, and on you go.
I mean, to be fair, not to be too downer about it, but it was like all the other murders that happened in Cleveland, but this one was on Facebook.
Well, true.
So you could like it. Normally, I just have to send my hearts and thumbs up in the mail.
Yeah, just with your thoughts and prayers. But this one, you could electronically give it a affirmation. Wow. So on that note, it looked like we had both Bosco and Felix in the intro Jumbotron cartoon. And then they were in like a drawing class.
I think it was an animation
playing.
studio.
Yes.
It was.
So did they have like funky jazz combos and jazz cigarettes in the animation studios back then? Was that like the dream goal state?
I think probably the idea was that we make these kooky animations and a band plays the live music while the animators animate this racist caricature running around with a lion playing a flamingo like a trombone.
Was that going on?
No, in my head it was.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm more creative than Hollywood.
well, maybe not more creative than 1940s Hollywood, to be fair.
It was
Because
1930s Hollywood for this.
even more so. You could buy like laudanum over the counter back then, I think. So those guys were zonked. It was just, it looked like it was a lot of fun. And I doubt that the Korean sweatshop animation studios they used to make this and other famous cartoon television programs have that same kind of atmosphere.
They probably don't have animals playing jazz.
No. Well, if they're in North Korea, they might. Or they may have been, conditioned to believe that that's happening. I'm
really scanning that for racism.
No. It's not a racist thing. It's more about totalitarian psychological warfare and population control. I've been thinking about that a lot lately. Don't ask me why.
Too late. Why is that? I don't really want to.
Yeah, that should be used on our sister podcast, which hasn't been started yet.
What? Regimes?
coming this fall to a RSS feed near you. So this episode cracked open a lot of the world building. Like definitely something that you've hinted at or explicitly told me before, Tom. But here it is. Here's Leela's origin story.
Right. Yep. She is not an alien.
She's
Spoilers.
not an alien. Well, I mean, it got spoiled a long time ago, but it was like when...
Yeah, you kind of forget when it happens.
Yeah.
Wait, have you not seen it? Is that the gimmick of the show?
No.
I
I mean,
okay,
it's
I
not...
so.
In all fairness, I may have seen this episode before. I don't remember if I did, because it was probably more than a decade ago. But I can't retain anything anymore. I really kind of exceed my bandwidth at all times, and it's making my steel trap mind rust very rapidly. So in a week, I'll forget most of the things in this show, but for now, it's relatively fresh. So we get to go back to the orphanarium.
Yes.
She's gonna get Orphan of the Year, but I was trying to figure out in watching it if did they just rotate that, or did they actually have to have some kind of accomplishment?
You did, because the people up on the wall next to her, it was
all the plaques.
Yeah. But I mean, some of those accomplishments were dubious.
Well, there probably aren't a whole lot of quality people coming out of that orphanarium.
That now, speaking of being racist, Tom, really
I'm just
classist.
saying that's why there's the people
Is it
that
because
like
the
the guy
systems-
that ate every McDonald's sandwich ever
Often seen in the background of news spots.
and successfully switched from heroin to methadone.
They were all good. I think that was Diligent Flosser was the other one.
Yeah.
Are any of you diligent flossers,
No. I mean, I do floss, but not diligently.
Zachariah?
No, you know what a lot of people walk into my bathroom and they get very concerned because I have an X-Acto blade on my sink.
Oh, no.
And I've gotten a lot of like, are you okay style. But I figured out what's better than flossing, which takes way too much time and it makes
Picking
your gums.
with an
Not
X-Acto
your
knife.
Gums. If you're an adult with a stable hand, you can put the knife and scrape, as a dentist might, scrape the plaque out.
You know
from
what
between
else
your
works
teeth.
for that? Tooth scrapers.
Or
this
dental
is-
floss?
Like,
No,
You can buy-
floss does not work as
you
well.
can buy the
what's
tools.
Why
You
do I
can
need to
just-
buy another thing? I already have an X-Acto knife.
Because, I don't know. Go ahead and slice your gums up.
I've been doing it for 20 years now. Nary a nick.
I think that's like dental patient 101 on the little signs they put up in their, pictogram signs in the offices. Never pick your teeth with anything metal. I mean, that's the same as saying like the
We've all
Q-tip
seen
box
that
is
classic
like
poster.
the Q-tip box is like don't put these in your ears. Like
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
And actually, now that you've brought it up, I'm kind of intrigued because
Well, what is a dentist tools made out of? Animal bone? Like those are metal.
No,
They're
but
just
it's-
sticking knives in your mouth, man. You drank the Kool-Aid when
No.
it came to these dentists.
They
Where are
keep-
we in North Korea?
They keep trying to sell me on whitening, and I'm like, you clearly don't understand my lifestyle and like between years of cigarette smoke damage and coffee drank in measured by pots, and then wine and every other horrible thing that I ingest. Like,
You don't think it could do any good for you?
no, I just think it's sort of like I don't need to be vain about it. Like, I regularly indulge in things that will stain my teeth. So if I do my regular cleanings and things are healthy, then I'll just leave it at that. I don't need to put on airs, as it were.
Right.
There at one point I had a dentist talking to me about like contact lens veneers for my teeth. I'm like, you don't you don't understand my brand.
I will say, in terms of like a career, it's really good for podcasts if I know the teeth are really shining and bright.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean,
Like, I can hear the gleam.
I brush like 6 times a day, but because I work from
That's
home,
probably not
so-
good.
Well, I don't brush like the full. Let's see, instead of doing like the full happy birthday, where like they
I don't like
when-
talking about
That we
brushing
call
teeth.
a blowjob.
Slurmcast does not endorse Zachariah's idea of picking his teeth with X-Acto blades. Just
But-
want to throw that in here.
Well,
Nor
we are
brushing
not-
your teeth 6 times a day.
We are not responsible if you hurt yourself.
I look at it like this. Like, you know how they tell you when you wash your hands, you should like sing happy birthday to yourself, so
Twice.
that you do it. Yeah, exactly. While you're at it. And the same thing with brushing your teeth. Now, I'll do it like 6 times a day, but instead of doing like a 30-second
6
thing,
times a day. I'll give you when you wake up and right before bed. After lunch, now we have 3.
after dinner,
And before bed?
yes.
What are you doing between brushing your teeth at dinner and going to bed that you need to also brush your teeth?
Drinking.
Not the full happy birthday, as you would put it, but just waving it in front of your mouth.
No, I mean just until it feels clean.
Okay.
That's all. I don't like
Hey man, it's not an inquisition. I'm just curious how
it's
you fit
all I can
6 into your
do.
schedule.
Pete goes through a tube of toothpaste a week.
And then when they went to the orphanarium, like all the kids were saying, like the girl with the ear on her head that she was gonna adopt with Adlai Adkins before, like she was still there.
Yeah, all the kids that Bender adopted
Yeah.
originally, like, were there.
But there's also, and we jumped ahead on it, but the professor had his new invention that made the glowing noses, and its Wonka-esque just existence was awesome. Like that was all I could think of when he started like firing it up. Was it seemed like all of those Willy Wonka machines in the lab where there'd be like a boxing glove just kind of punching
It's
the air for
everlasting
no reason.
gobstopper.
Yeah,
Machine. Yes.
yeah.
Only this one just made a ton of toxic waste.
and little glowing noses.
And other things.
I mean,
Was it all that barrel just for the one glowing
nose.
nose? That's
Yeah,
what I think.
so. I mean,
One of my favorite lines of this episode is when Amy walks back there and realizes that there's all this toxic waste coming out, and she says, "What's all that scroop blorking out of the machine?" I love those made up words.
She also said, "Your parents must be so proud to Lila."
Yeah, she's Orphan of the Year.
Like, oh,
Sorry.
This is beautiful. I've never encountered glowing noses, not even from reindeer or whatnot. Do you think there's a commercial use for them? Like, could we steal the professor's thunder, so to speak?
Make glowing noses. I mean, Halloween parties, little kids would love them.
Even if they were toxic?
Well,
especially.
I mean,
probably.
People don't need to know they're toxic until something happens, right?
I mean, we could outsource them in China, and then they probably would be by default.
That would be the way if you are dressing as the professor for Halloween coming up. The way to one-up your costume is have a bag of those glowing noses with you.
Oh, shit. That's right. If you could get them made out of gummy or something so that they were both glow in the dark and edible.
Is that possible?
Noses.
We'll have to ask Cassandra Fierce. She might have an in on
It is
gummy
possible.
manufacturing.
You
Glow
can
in the
make-
dark gummies?
You can make glow-in-the-dark gummies, well, blacklight glowing gummies if you use tonic water, because tonic water glows under blacklight.
No.
Or cat
shit.
pee.
Yeah, but you
yeah,
don't want
just
to
put
eat
some
that.
cat urine in it.
I think human pee will probably work too, right? Or is it just cat pee?
I don't
Semen
know.
works. I don't know if pee does.
I mean, whatever floats the boat, but that's
Yeah, we have a lot of options. When we run out of one thing, switch to the
just
other.
go to the next. I mean,
Put
Let's
it
do
in
a
the
science
vat.
experiment where we just take a whole bunch of different animals and see what pee glows under a black light.
I think we can make
Let's go
that
do it
happen.
now.
Doesn't your girlfriend work at a vet clinic?
I don't think that would be a question that she would know how to answer.
She has access to
She could get
various
pee.
animals and could collect their urine for us.
It's mostly cat and dogs, though.
Or we just
Well-
walk in with a black light.
But there's only
She
cat and
doesn't have to
dogs.
go all the
We
way.
could.
We could give her a black light.
I like to procure all the animals ourselves, get them all here, and
In
then,
my house?
Yes.
Fuck no.
And then
No.
we put out some newspaper or, I don't know, a carpet.
Which
and let them
animal?
pee.
I'm asking this rhetorically because I don't think any of us will have the answer. But if you had to take a guess, what animal do you think would have the most iridescent or what's fluorescent pee under a black light?
Cat.
Probably cat, yeah. I mean, that's all ammonia, right?
You said you're asking it rhetorically, so you don't expect.
Well,
an
I don't.
answer, Or you don't want the
feel-
right
I
answer.
don't expect the right
correct
answer.
answer.
Oh well, then giraffe.
That's yeah.
Let's
I
go
like the
all
way
that
you're
way
thinking.
down.
Right. It's got all. I mean, there could be all kinds of minerals that slip out of that neck because they have to make the bones that support all that stuff. Like that can't be metabolized after it's done, right?
Yeah, man, that's how necks work.
And I mean, they got like long legs and stuff too. It's a whole.
Well, the
thing.
neck squirts things that make food go down.
Exactly. If any of our listeners know who has the flashiest pee, let us know.
Text us.
Yeah, text.
Please text us.
Text us a picture with the proof. Oh shit! I made a note. I think it was Bender. Okay, I remember now. Bender getting rid of the toxic waste where it could cost the professor $500, or Bender will do it for $499.00.
Right.
Like sometimes the professor's just senility.
Well, he says, I know it's a rip, but I'm too lazy to care.
Like, I guess you get to be like 160 some years old, just like, whatever, I'm not going to be around. He doesn't really have any heirs besides Cubert, and he's the worst, so why not poison it?
I don't know. Why?
Well, because they have to get rid of it somewhere. I mean, if you pour it down the sewer. Was this just a plot device, or was this in...
This canon?
Well, no.
Honest
was this...
Vendor is canon.
Yes.
Was this in response to some sort of dumping incident that was happening at the time?
In the real world?
Yes. Yeah.
No, I think it's just a plot device to get us to the sewer.
Okay. So it wasn't like post Dave Matthews Band Bus or anything. It was just straight up like, here's
Was
toxic.
Dave Matthews dumping toxins from his music into the
were-
sewers?
He was dumping 800 pounds of porta potty waste out of his tour bus into the Chicago River.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and he was probably on the bus. It was his driver that he was employing. He's like, this looks like a good enough place. I mean, this is like rock and roll apocrypha, but it actually happened, and I think the anniversary of it just happened recently. It was probably not quite 17 years ago, but there was
People celebrated by pooping in the Chicago River.
Yeah, they got like caught and fined significantly and stuff,
Okay.
and it was, another permanent black mark on his record, like his songs.
Right. It was ants marching and then that.
Yes.
Crash into pee.
I just had a put down contest with my boss about Dave Matthews today.
Oh, who won? The audience?
It was just over text, and
Okay.
I was on the right side, and he was an apologist. So I hope he has fun at Farm Aid. Yeah. So other than like random little peaks and stuff, like there really haven't been much mutant activity in the shows since the last time they came out. That was with the Robot Devil, wasn't it?
The one where they had to get Nibbler.
Oh,
Nibbler,
that's yeah.
Bender flushed Nibbler down the toilet. That was,
Yeah.
I think, the last time that there was mutants.
And and other than maybe like a quick aside or something, they never really showed up again. Did they?
Why did they? Oh, all the toxic waste spilled out of the.
Yeah, well, because
Street.
it just. What was the thing where it like dripped onto the car and then ate through the tree, which fell on a car, and then ate through the car and then ate into the street?
Yeah,
Like it
was that was after Bender was cleaning up the set of Free Willy 3?
You jammed
That
the orca in the
Joke
manhole.
holds up really well. That Free Willy reference.
But there already was a Free Willy 3 when the episode came out. They had already made Free Willy 3.
really?
Yeah.
I
That
don't.
yes.
What year did this come out?
This is
episode?
02.
Yeah, 2002.
It was
Let's
that
see.
late? I think Free Willy 3 was what, 97?
Yeah, something like that.
In all candor, I never saw any of the Free Willy movies.
Oh, let's stop the podcast now.
Is it?
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
need to watch them in
Watch
order.
all.
Are is
People
it
have no idea what's going on if we just watch one of them.
okay? So there's a whale
Yeah.
in captivity,
Mm-hmm.
and a kid lets him go. Is that
Yeah, you
Pretty
got
much.
it.
triumph of the
Mm-hmm.
human spirit and
Yep.
the whale spirit?
And then Michael Jackson sings a song about it.
Really?
Yep.
That's
The-
what Will You
in
Be
the
There
first
is
one.
from.
Huh?
What song?
Will You Be There?
Oh yeah.
Was
That-
he? Did they let him on set?
Oddly religious song. Yeah, this was pre the world feeling irpy about him.
Yeah. I think we're all. I mean, I have a fear that we're all going to live to see all of our heroes become horribly shamed by their terrible deeds, and that's that's just a bad thing to look into, like the future for.
Michael Madsen's in it.
Really?
In the
Doing-
first one, right?
Doing what?
In the first one.
Like, is he a gangster or something?
I think he is the person who wants to get that whale.
But why?
I think he really hates whales.
I mean,
I think at the beginning there's that part where a whale shoots his parents in an alleyway.
Wasn't it like a SeaWorld situation? Like
Yes.
I watched it when I was a kid because I was of that age.
yeah, you were a kid.
I was a kid when Free Willy came out, but I don't remember that movie much. And I don't really think I watched any of the other ones.
Did Michael Madsen want to eat Willie, or was he just wanting to make a buck off of his?
I think that was
clever
it was like
tricks?
this is the star attraction.
It was the 90s.
Oh, the latest Free Willy came out in 2010. Free Willy
Wasn't it a- was
escaped
it a-
from Pirates Cove.
Huh.
Does the whale talk or anything?
Bo Bridges is in it.
Oh. Does the whale talk? No, he's just a whale.
All right. I'm trying to understand why it was such a phenomenon. And I guess it's just that kids like animals in captivity being let go.
I think Save the Whales was a big thing at the time. Like that, it's not so much anymore, but I remember in the 90s there was all of that save the whales.
And this is way before like Blackfish and stuff.
Well,
I mean,
I'm not making a joke. I think the two things that really made that movie popular was that song was a huge hit when it came out, and that poster. Like, if you've never seen Free Willy, yeah, you know what the poster looks like, and I really think that goes a long way. You wanted to see that whale jump over
a big
little
rock.
kid, yeah.
Oh, I'd be scared that he'd fall on me. That
Well,
just
no
it seems very
spoilers.
dangerous.
It took 17 takes before he actually made it over.
Launching
he
that whale.
landed on that kid for 16 takes.
That's why it was day one.
And that's information that
They
he
filmed
had
that
in his brain.
entire movie with one orca, but there was like 6
Kids.
to 8 kids
Yeah.
that they had to keep replacing.
And they never learned their lesson. And each time they filmed all of the earlier shots before that.
They somehow got a line on
had
the
to do-
most terrible stage parents ever.
15 reshoots.
Oh God!
Wow.
It took 18 years to make Free Willy.
Simpler times.
So
The whale that played Willie died in 2003, by the way.
Ah.
They tried to release him, and he was following a pod of orcas, and they wouldn't accept him in, and then
He was a
died of,
Hollywood orca.
Yeah, he died of pneumonia alone
Well,
in the
I mean-
ocean.
Oh, that's so sad. I'm going to cry.
he was probably a dick after all that, like hoity-toity living. You know,
You didn't have pneumonia? Or are you just making a
Do
little
whales get pneumonia?
goof?
No, wait. Where is it?
is it pneumonia or was it whale pneumonia? It just like how.
How would a thing that lives in the ocean get pneumonia?
Yeah, well, he doesn't. They don't breathe water, but
Got wet the
still.
wrong way.
Yeah.
No. He kept returning to humans for food and for company, and his inability to integrate with pod of orcas. So the project failed, and he eventually died of pneumonia in a Norwegian bay on December 12th, 2003.
That's so sad.
Much more of a downer than that Facebook killer.
Yeah. Yeah. Even though, I mean, it was literally like a killer whale, but
Well, the weird thing is that he they freed Willie and he died. But in the
Yeah.
movie, it's like they did what was in the movie.
Doesn't
and
work.
then didn't
Only in the
work.
movies.
I'm surprised that narrative hasn't been assumed by the alt-right for some sort of horrible bullshit.
What?
Well, like, look, sometimes you let things go and they just can't handle it, you know? I'm making
Oh,
a
I
jump, but
see.
it's like metaphorically, some asshole with a Pepe the Frog pin could probably like
Right.
twist that.
Big Zoo is going to say that this
Yeah.
is, yes.
Yeah, it's horrible. We live in a terrible world, and so do the mutants that are getting toxic waste.
Hey, look
dumped
at
on
that
them.
leeway.
but like this is a part that I was trying to sort of reconcile. Like the mutants were pissed that the waste was getting dumped on them, but the waste doesn't really affect them. So what was it was just the glowing that made them see how horrible they were. I mean, that was the stated reason, but even that seems like
It's also getting dumped on top of them. You wouldn't want stuff dumped on top of you.
if you live in a sewer, you're probably used to getting horrible things dumped on top of you.
Yeah, this episode plays very fast and loose in terms of the writers needing something to happen,
Yeah.
which is why it's not quite rewatching this a couple times. I was like, and narratively, this is not one of the tighter machines that they've constructed.
It's number 23 out of 25 of the best Futurama episodes.
Really?
As voted by whom?
IGN.
Well,
I don't know
fuck
what that
them.
stands for, but
Aren't they-
International
Isn't it a game
It's
site?
a game website.
What the
Isn't
hell
it?
do they
Gaming
know about
Network.
TV script construction?
Well,
They're just like, give me them beep boop Mario Brothers.
They probably put out a poll and it.
yeah.
They saw Leela's mom's tentacles and got all worked up. And,
That's probably it.
yeah. I get it. I just it's there's a lot to dissect here. I think. I mean, and I guess we'll get there.
Now that I think of it, though, they could have done this episode better to introduce what they were introducing in it.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, for sure. But there, so I guess
this episode's ruined for me.
we've jumped around a little bit. But
I've done my job.
So Bender starts dumping this shit down the sewers, and then they go to Leela's induction into the Orphan Hall of Fame, Orphan of the Year ceremony. One of the funniest things in this episode was the warden at the orphanarium hammering in her plaque while she's doing her acceptance speech. It just says, like those noises were so perfect. And then for him to be like, it's crooked.
Yeah.
And also not only crooked, but like half an inch lower.
Yeah.
And everything else, which, I mean, the listeners can't see it, but there's a lot of shit hanging on the walls in here. And there's a pile of shit that still needs to get hung up in there that I took down and just haven't gotten back. But like hanging pictures like that was the bane of my existence. Like even with a level and the right tools, I still it's always, there's like some way to fuck it up. I'll find a way to do it. I mean, is that a challenge for any of you, or are you all pretty good with hanging stuff up? Or are you just like tacky tape and...
Oh, I'm an eyeballer, and I'm pretty good at keeping things straight.
Me too.
I don't know. So then you add a frame, I think, because you have to adjust for like, here's that cable that it's going to hang on, and you got to get the hook on. And then
see, I just used like the 3M Velcro.
That's what I do too.
Really?
And put them on the back. It's the easiest. They're expensive, but once you get them on all your pictures, if you want to move them, you only have to use half the pack then to move them and do that stuff. Really? But they're
really
no
well.
damage. They hold really well. I have a guitar hanging up on my wall with...
It's not the one I gave you, is it?
No, of course not. No, it's a one that doesn't work. It's like...
So it's just for decoration.
It's just decoration. But yeah, it's got like 3 of them on there.
Really?
Yeah. They work really well.
That doesn't seem right.
Make sure you got to clean the wall with like something like... They recommend like alcohol. And get it real clean, and they stick really well.
Yeah, I've been doing that for years.
Huh.
It's
That's how
way easier.
Yeah. My rat water bottle for my rats is Velcroed on the wall.
I
like
thought
that.
you were going to say that your rat, you stick it to the wall.
I do.
That. Does it work?
No.
Would
He squirms too much.
Would he not that, or would he not himself?
Oh, they
first?
gnaw at the command strips.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Shout
probably
out,
not good
shout out
for
to
them.
3M. Not a sponsor.
Well, if you had this toxic waste, you could drop your rat into it and turn it into a flying salmon bat pig.
Oh, it reminds me of the time that I looked into the kitchen of, was it Hunan something?
Yeah, I don't know what it was. Imperial Hunan.
Imperial
yeah.
Hunan.
There's a deleted scene for that
Really?
where they drop in a rat, and it first comes out as a just beautiful peacock. And he's like, come on, no. Fry's said something like, I thought it was supposed to be worse when it came out. That's better. And he's like, shut up. That's happens 1 in a million times. And he's like, well, in my experience, it happens 100% of the time. And they're like, lower the backup rat. And that's when that one turns into that flying pig.
Wow,
bat.
that's a much funnier
They
joke.
should've
I know.
left that
They
in.
cut it.
Time, probably.
Yeah.
It's
Fucking Fox.
when the kids got all excited about Leela's speech, it was almost Simpson-esque with the one that puts the eye patch on. I was like, I'm Leela, and the other one does both eyes. Like, I'm double Leela.
Yeah,
Which
it's
is
the
like
Ralph.
a total
Wiggum.
Ralph Wiggum thing. Which
No more espresso for you.
I could get by with more Ralph Wiggum in my life. I'm not enough to go and watch new episodes of The Simpsons, but I should probably go revisit some old ones. I know you have a differing opinion on that. But we'll save that for another show. The part that I think this is what disturbed me the most in the episode was Katie Seagal's crying or fake crying when they were back at Planet Express. Like she was sobbing in the locker room. It was very unconvincing. It just, and I don't know if it's just it's her weak spot as an actress or what. She's like, a boo. Like it was very clunky and bad.
I think that's how Leela cries, because Leela cries a lot.
It's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, how realistic do you want that to sound?
I think Katie Seagal's a really talented actor. So it was ostentatiously bad compared to the rest of it.
You don't maybe want that moment to be the one that you're really using all your actor method to make it real.
Since they get more
middle
real
of
at
the
end.
episode just to get to the next point. It's not like it was really the emotional crux of the show.
But the
Look, man, you should write her.
I really should. I could just nitpick other people's shit all day long. Apparently,
Just cry into a microphone and say, "This is how it sounds, dummy."
Well, Fry says, if those aren't tears of joy, please stop. Like, he can't even tell.
Yeah, see?
is it?
That's
this room
usually what
making
happens
you
if my
sad?
girlfriend's crying and I walk in. I'm just like, if those aren't tears of joy, please stop.
Is it the room that's making you sad? It's probably the room. And then Fry says something that's so is so close to my heart, where he goes, "Keep his sadness inside so it can manifest as mental illness." I do that with my stupidness. Like I've had a lot of I've done a lot of thinking in addition to totalitarian regimes lately, but about compartmentalization and how it affects me in my everyday life. And it's interesting to see that get played out as like an actual description of something useful. Like
So this episode's aspirational for you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think I already have the mental illness part down. Then it's like you create the conditions to exacerbate that and then mitigate the symptoms as best you can through either self-medication or denial. And so far so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got a lot out of this episode.
I really did. I mean, on top of the world building and sort of the answers to these questions I've had for several seasons now, just some therapy tips, stuff like that.
Over the weekend, Pete also found out that his parents were mutants. So it really hits home for him.
Yeah, my mom's been wearing fake arms all this time. She has tentacles. And she's never gone to Japan.
Don't tell IGN.
Yeah, right? They're they've been holding out on me this for 42 years. They never told me some bullshit. But
You're taking it well.
So this is the second time we've seen her parents sort of overlooking her, though, isn't it? When they're in the sewer, kind of listening to them talk.
What do you mean?
Like there's
Another episode?
No, well, I think in a previous episode when they've been doing foreshadowing about this, like you see her parents in the sewer while she's talking or saying something at some point, like they're outside on the waterfront, and then her parents are there. This is more foreshadowing for this episode, but like in the last mutant-centric episode, wasn't there like them up in the rafters or something watching? I guess what it really comes down to is like they seem to have a life separate from all of the other mutants. Is that the case?
Her parents?
Yeah.
Why?
I know they have their own little house in that storefront. They have their shrine to Leela, which clearly takes up a lot of their time. So if they were interacting with the other mutants and having them over for like coffee or whatever, wouldn't they be like, what's all this? Or was that hidden shrine like separate from their residence?
Well, when they whisper into the leader's ear, he knows what they're talking about. So
Yeah.
obviously he knows that the story
Right.
of
So
her.
why wouldn't it come up?
Why
do you
wouldn't
mean?
it come up?
Like, why wouldn't I don't know.
I have no idea what you're asking right now.
Maybe it'll make more sense later. Maybe I'll be able to ask it better later. I mean, it turns into well, there's a return appearance by the Todd Berry looking mutant. Do you know the one I'm talking about?
Her dad?
No. There's one in particular who is severely reminiscent of Todd Berry.
Todd Berry, if you're listening, I am so sorry. Are you talking about the one with the arm hanging out of his head?
No. He's just got a big forehead and
Yeah.
then like, the receding hairline. And then there's something about the way that they've animated his features
Yeah.
where he looks like a caricature of Todd Berry.
Okay.
The leg mutant. That
Looks
leg
like
mutant,
Louis C.K.
a little bit, but that character was one of my favorite things in this episode. Does he ever come back, or is this like our only exposure
Leg
to Leg
mutant?
Man? Yeah.
Yeah.
Leg Mutant comes back.
Yeah.
And
Most
he's-
of the mutants
with
come
his
He's in
back.
the Futurama Worlds of Tomorrow game. You can unlock him, or you could have unlocked him.
Did I miss that already?
You probably did.
Shit.
I still haven't got to the head museum yet.
Oh my god!
I can't get that artifact to unlock that area. I got to get
Uh.
Scruffy, but I don't have any pizza, so I got to wait for things.
And the fun part is we haven't even released the episode where we talked about the game, so I don't know. We might need to cut it out.
What?
This stuff that we're about the game. Because
Oh, it doesn't matter.
Whatever. Nothing matters. It's true. You're a most nihilistic podcast. It's all just whatever.
Nothing else matters.
Yeah. But oh shit! Autocorrect turned it into Leg Mustang is great. But I like even where he had the hat and then he didn't have a cane at some point. Or was that like I think there's just a shot where he's standing next to a mutant with a cane and it almost looked like the leg mutant who was just a leg.
I know what you're talking about. I couldn't tell what that was.
Yeah,
I think it was just like next to him.
But as they started their escape to avoid being mutated, which I mean, really, the only person in danger was Fry, right? Because Bender wouldn't mutate as a robot.
But Leela didn't know that she wasn't
And
going
Leela didn't
to
know.
mutate.
True. But
They were going to beat Bender up afterwards.
yeah. I mean, the other part of that is that toxic waste was caustic enough that it could disintegrate a tree, a car, and the street underneath it. So is it just that it got diluted with whatever else was in the sewers, or like I'd be scared of that shit because of that?
Or maybe it goes to the sub-sewers.
Is there sub-sewers?
Some say there are.
Huh. Will that be explored in a future episode?
No.
Huh.
It's just an urban legend. Or suburban legend, I'm sorry.
Wait.
It's a throwaway line in something, right?
It's in one of the
Yeah.
episodes.
All right.
It's the one with Nibbler, because they talk about the, what was it? Not a chupacabra, but it was...
El Chupa Libre or
yeah,
whatever.
El Chupa Libre. And they say something about...
we watched that episode and discussed it on an
flushed-
episode of this show.
Yeah, it
and
flushes down the... They flush... The super toilet goes down into the super, or the sub-sewer.
I as they ran on their little chase, like the stores that were in the old New York with
My favorite one I put in my notes was Bed Bath and Beneath.
there was they all started with B except for Starbucks.
It just Starbucks.
But they're everywhere.
The Big and Strange men's store, which I feel like I could shop there now, to be honest. And then Bob's Big Mutant Boy, who had, I think, a third arm growing out of his big boy head. Is that Big Boy still open on 130th? And is it Brook
Yes.
Park or Puritas?
It's Brook Park.
And they still have like the statue and everything out front too.
I don't remember if they have a statue up front. They might.
I think they do.
Yeah. There used to be one in Lakewood years and years ago.
Yeah, it's where the Drug Mart is now.
Yeah. Well, Drug Mart was there, but they took over that.
expanded and-
Expanded, yeah. I love Bob's.
Well, that's so. I think we kind of touched on this on another episode in regards to Howard Johnson's, but Big Boy is kind of the same thing where like you wind up with these formerly chain restaurants that the chains vanish. Like there is no Big Boy Corporation anymore, as far as I know. But there's still these random Big Boy restaurants throughout the country. So how do they get their supplies of Big Boy food?
Why would you say that it's not part of a chain anymore?
I
I believe the Elias's or whatever that company is still owns them, unless you have a real inside track to Big Boy.
Maybe this is something to research, but it wasn't just them. There was like, oh shit, there was another one I was thinking of where it was just almost like White Castle, where they just pulled up stakes and they're like, "Fuck Ohio, we're closing all our
There's
stores."
tons of White Castles in Columbus.
Just not
There are
here.
3 within like 20 minutes of my mom's house
Yeah.
in
Really?
Columbus.
That's so you can say, let's not go to that White Castle. Let's go to the good White Castle.
Yeah, like I have several. When I go to visit my
That's
mom, I have
living.
several opportunities to go to White Castle, and I believe there is still a Big Boy like 5 minutes from the house where I grew up. And man, I miss Big. There's just no Big Boy up here.
Well, there is on 130th. And,
Well, I didn't even know that one existed.
they have the statue and everything.
Did you ever get the surf and turf
No,
at White Castle?
no.
What's that?
The off-menu burger that I used to get when I was super drunk and walking home, which I think is the only way you can eat it.
It's the only way you can eat White Castle, period.
I would agree with that because I also got this sandwich sober and I could not finish it. Surf and turf is one burger, but it is the fish patty sandwiched between 2 of the cheeseburger patties.
Fucking A.
Wow.
And
Wow.
boy, when that fish acid hits the back of your throat, it's
Fish
a
acid.
real sensation.
Like
Snaps
all
you out of that drunk, I will tell you that.
I want to stop recording right now and go make something similar with like Rally's parts or something. And they just texted
No.
me again today for like a free Rally burger or something.
They
Let's
texted
go.
You?
Yeah, if you can get on Rally's text back menu.
I
I've-
get like 10 texts a week from Domino's.
Yeah,
For folks, we can replace the word rallies with checkers.
Checkers.
yes, I
or
think.
Rax, isn't it the other one?
Rax is different. Rax is like Arby's.
Yeah,
And there are not many Raxes left either.
that's like I mean,
And it's Hardee's and Carl's Jr., right?
Hardee's and Carl's Jr. was another one, but Hardee's is like there's one Hardee's I know of in the area off that like weird exit off of 90 on the east side. But that was something similar. I'm God, it'll come to me at some point, but like I feel like it just with the traveling I've been doing, I either saw some place at like a turnpike rest stop or an airport where it's like these don't exist anymore. How is this here? And
You don't
like,
remember what they were?
No.
Okay.
No. I hopefully it'll come back. But yeah, if you text rallies you text a certain like code phrase to a certain number.
216-438-1077.
Oh man.
They'll send you links
Yeah.
and then it's just like, hey, get a free Rally burger with cheese. And then you just drive up and you know how attentive and open the staff at Rallies always is.
Yep.
You just, I got one of these, and you show them their phone, and they're like, fuck you. And that's just how it goes. It's really, really good.
Wow.
I mean, it makes cheap, bad food even cheaper and worse.
You just have to take a survey, subscribe to a couple magazines. What else? Get 3 of your friends to like it on Facebook.
Uh-huh.
You're setting that bar too high. It's so easy. They're needy is really what it like. If you just they will text you back at 3 a.m.
We've talked about
Finally.
rallies, I think, in the last 3 episodes.
Yeah, for sure.
Get used to it. Get used to it.
It's I mean, it's so good.
I stopped eating fast food finally, like early this year.
Oh,
so I
good for
can't-
you.
It is because I was getting more depressed than usual,
I
and
thought
I realized
they put antidepressants in the food though.
no, now I'm just like sitting all day, and I had like whatever slurm they put in the burger, just sitting there feeling it come out my pores, and it was just like another layer I couldn't do.
I mean, I say this having had McDonald's for dinner tonight, and I'm ashamed of it. Like, like we tried for a long time. The parents are like, no, we're not going to feed our child McDonald's. And then it's like, I've got too much fucking shit to do tonight. I can't. I need to feed her something.
I was raised on chicken nuggets.
yeah.
Like, on McDonald's chicken nuggets specifically. You know what? I have never had a McDonald's hamburger. It's a fact.
Seriously.
Yeah. Almost 30 years old, and I have never had a McDonald's hamburger.
I wonder if it would taste good at all, because I think nostalgia is the only reason why people think certain things taste good. Like, it's not a good tasting burger, but we remember it tastes like a McDonald's burger.
Yes.
It's like how Taco Bell doesn't taste like Mexican food, but it does taste like Taco Bell.
Yeah.
And you'll go, I want Taco Bell. I want a McDonald's cheeseburger. It is like nothing that this name references except for the structure. But I wonder if you had never had it, if you would like it.
Yeah. I wonder if it's like.
I think
I
somebody.
think we know what we're going to do for the next episode.
Yeah,
I don't wanna
somebody
break
needs
my-
to play
I don't wanna
purse
break my
burgers.
Yeah.
What, your streak of not eating something?
I had never had Burger King until I was 23.
Okay.
Like, I had never even been
What
to
a
a Burger
brag.
King. I
Is that
don't
how you
know,
start
man.
job
What did you get from
interviews?
Burger
It's
King?
because when I was a kid, I used to refuse to eat hamburgers because I didn't like them. I don't know why. I just like I didn't.
You never
like
tasted one,
beef.
but you
well,
just
I
didn't like.
had a hamburger before. I just never had been to Burger King or.
Yeah.
Also, hamburger
wouldn't-
is different than a cheeseburger,
It's the same
And it
thing.
makes
Just
a-
one has cheese on it.
and it makes a world of a difference.
It
Well,
really does.
I just didn't like.
I don't like hamburgers.
I didn't like beef.
That's boring.
I was really into chicken and not so much into beef when I was a kid. So I wouldn't really get anything but the chicken nuggets and French fries from McDonald's, and then I just never went to Burger King because when I was young, that's all they had. They didn't have these chicken fries and Doritos encrusted what is it, Cheeto mac and cheese bite things.
That
And
sounds so gross.
they have breakfast. Burger King has breakfast now.
It
who
is my
else-
least favorite fast food place.
Yeah.
Who else was on that list of potential hosts?
You talking about hamburgers and cheeseburgers is the most strident I've ever seen you take a position.
Oh, cheeseburgers.
Yeah.
I have
For the
very
listener,
many.
he's standing up, he's pacing around the room.
God damn it!
You guys want to hear about cheeseburgers?
He's running for mayor on a cheeseburger
He just
platform.
locked the door. He's locking us in here and standing in front of
I
it.
think cheeseburgers
Tommy's
are my
about to
favorite
force
food
feed me
out
a
of anything.
cheeseburger.
What were you saying?
If it
I'm
was
sorry.
good enough to kill Jerry Garcia, it's good enough to kill me too.
They are my favorite food ever. I think
Cheeseburger?
cheeseburgers in general.
I
have a
do
favorite?
love cheeseburgers now.
But not
I do.
McDonald's cheeseburgers.
I've just never had one. Because I
What's-
love the chicken nuggets too much that when I go to McDonald's, I'm going to get the chicken
You can
nuggets.
buy more than one thing though.
Not me. I weigh like 120 pounds.
Well, there's your problem.
Like 5 feet tall. I can't get more than one thing.
I like Beer Engine, which is a local brewery / restaurant in Lakewood here. They have really good.
What about for our Canadian listeners who don't have such
Um,
luxuries?
if we had to
Gummies in
go, you
Toronto.
know what? To be honest, like just homemade burgers from ground beef. I like.
Well, sure.
That's really good.
Yeah.
But if I had to fast food wise, oh god, I don't even know. Wendy's.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
I mean, you're
fresh, never frozen.
A Wendy's, man.
I know we're going deep on this.
Just
but
burger, just cheeseburger.
so you're saying like
It's not Wendy's is
like
not
a rally single compared to a rally cheeseburger or a rally burger with cheese. Like that, I would say Wendy's would be better in that position.
Yes,
but a Big Buford is
in its own category.
This is a bonus episode
Now
of
he's crying.
Slurmcast. Slurmcast, where we discuss
Slurm
fast
fat with Kevin Smith.
so they understandably they get creeped the fuck out when they walk into this Leela museum that's buried in the sewers with no context or explanation while they're hiding from the mob of mutants trying to kill them.
They just happen to. First of all, I love how Bender picks up Fry and smashes him into the window.
Yeah.
And all the mutants running there, they didn't see the broken glass and be like,
Which would theoretically be cleaner and shinier on the ground. Like I think that would draw attention to it anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, they they go into there, and then that's when they see all the stuff on the walls about Leela. I think that's just their living room.
No, I thought they kind of went back. I mean, regardless, there was a lot of shrinery to Leela with her.
When they saved the world from the garbage ball.
Yeah. What was that headline? It was something like El Stinko.
El
or-
Stinko.
The part where oh god, see, I'm losing it. I started thinking about cheeseburgers, and now it's all for naught.
We're looking at the collection of Leela artifacts, and it was all the best stuff she ever flushed down the toilet.
Yeah,
including a letter
Fry's
from Fry explaining his personal feelings.
Do you think he wrote that during the Parasites Lost episode when he was really
Yes, definitely.
so it was like deep Fry when he was smart and
I don't think
articulate.
Leela would have flushed that.
No,
No.
wouldn't it be a reminder of her constant disappointment, knowing, or is it just like one of Fry's badly written like
That's what I would think
I isn't
more so.
stupid?
For some reason.
Oh, Fry. The airship that was so.
He did this episode when Leela's crying, or he's like, "Oh, I'm a loving, hugging."
A Holden stroking, loving machine. Also spanking.
That's not at all what I.
Well, so I guess this is the part where it takes a turn. Like the mutants are told by these masked, cloaked figures, like something. They whisper in their ears, and then they're like banishing them instead of killing them.
Mhm.
But they pull out this airship made out of discarded Macy's Day balloons, and Macy's Day, but whatever.
Plenty of people say
Yeah, yeah.
You're fine.
Okay. I mean, because it really is like a celebration of capitalism, right?
Oh boy, here we go.
But the Bart
North
Simpson
Korea
reference.
all
Yeah,
over
North Korea all over it. There's another Bart Simpson's reference. It's been a while since we had one of those, but the fact that it always comes up, I like. I enjoy it, but then it opens up this rift of like, and we've talked about this before, but goddamn if I can remember what the outcome was. Like,
What's the rift?
well, if they're
Simpsons,
referencing the
Futurama.
Simpsons, yeah. Well, so if the Simpsons are cartoon characters in the universe of Futurama, does that make Futurama the same universe that we live in ourselves?
Yeah.
But they only have the 3 fingers or whatever, like.
What's the future? We evolved
But
past
Fry
that
is
other finger.
Fry should have at least.
They fixed it in post.
Well, also in the Simpsons, there's a whole bunch of like there's episodes where it acts like they are a TV show, and then
Yeah,
Like-
there's the one clip show where it's like behind the music.
yeah. So
It just gets meta and weird.
there is a whole big theory, which one day we'll talk about the
I'm sure
Futurama
someone's
Simpsons.
Propose some alternate
Universe.
universe thing,
Oh,
which is what
I don't
every other fan theory is.
yeah, it's all revisionist
You're either
history.
dead or you're in an alternate universe or some other
I'm sick of fan theories.
boring thing.
Just so sick of fan theories.
Sick of fans, period. They're the worst. Doesn't matter what they're fans of. It's just there shouldn't be such a thing.
How often do you think writers, like somebody comes up with a fan theory and that's exactly what the writers were going, but they're just like, no, fuck that, we're gonna change it now.
Yeah.
Well, didn't George R.R. Martin do that with Game of Thrones, where he's just like, oh fuck it, okay, I guess I'll do that after like the discussion had gotten to a point where he hadn't settled on an ending. It's like, all right, based on the discussion, because the show got ahead of the books.
I mean that Jon Snow is a Cylon.
Yeah. And
Oh.
he's a big Bob Dylan fan. Who knew? But the part, so we have a magical chest cavity situation where Bender takes the unicycle out of his.
Well, he couldn't walk. He had to ride the unicycle.
Right, but the last time they were in the sewers, he turned his legs into like train track wheels. So couldn't he have done that along the side of the board and not fallen off instead of? I mean, we're getting into Bill Squire's favorite thing of cartoon logic. That rubbed me the wrong way because it just seemed like extravagant and dumb.
I think it was just the joke of like the circus tightrope unicycle kind of deal.
Okay, I mean,
I also took it like, oh, he couldn't walk straight, but then in order to compensate for that, he was just gonna ride a unicycle.
Because that's easier than walking.
Yeah, because he could do that. He just couldn't walk.
okay. Have you ever been to a weird circus? And by weird, I mean like not
Any circus ever?
No. I mean not like mainstream Barnum
No.
and Bailey circus.
Like
I mean
Cirque du
like
Soleil or
no,
Yeah, not that
No.
bullshit.
I've been to a
circus.
few sideshow
like off-brand
deals. Yeah.
circuses where
I was even in a Facebook group that was called like Sideshow Spectrum.
I can
And
only
it
imagine.
was insane. It was cool.
Was it all autistic people that?
It was all
Did sideshow
performers. It was all sideshow performers posting about their industry, and I don't know how I got added into that group, but someone put me in there. And
Did you leave it or did it just sort of go away?
I think I left it. I think I did one of those Facebook purges and didn't want to see a bunch of stuff in my feed at one point.
The reason I ask is I've been to like corporate events where there's like 4th tier circuses that get hired for the entertainment.
does Jim Rose Circus count?
No. I mean, they aren't like punk rock circuses. They're like
Corporate event is hiring a circus.
They-
A circus?
they put on a circus themed night at this conference, and they had
Oh, okay.
so and then in the arena, they set up 3 rings. And they had a tightrope act and like clowns and donkeys and whatnot. I
No
mean, like
lions,
no lions,
no elephants.
but it was thrilling to see a tiny man on a rope very high up in the air because it was certainly dangerous. But that's got to be a hell of a way to make a living. Like, and then to just be like, no, man, we're the indie guys. We're not like this fucking Barnum and Bailey bullshit, fucking sellouts, man. We're keeping it real. And it was.
How do you keep a circus real?
Have you ever seen Carnival?
No.
Start there. It involves the devil.
Wow, he really nailed you.
No, I'm not trying to put him down. I'm just saying, like, there's a thing. But like when you come across those things, you're just like, I didn't even know this was a thing. And now the existence of this sort of begets the understanding that there's like a whole world of indie circus acts. Like, that's just fucked up.
Like people you can rent out for a circus act.
You ever
Yeah.
seen Pee-wee's Big Top? Start there.
That's how you keep it real.
Yeah, you got a talking pig.
Well,
Have a
I'm
tornado
very,
that blows a circus into your backyard.
The super hot Gina Piccola-Puccola.
Oh, yeah.
Piccola-Poopola.
no, that's all.
Speaking of that movie, I was really weirded out that he ate egg salad sandwiches. His girlfriend would bring him egg salad.
It's your favorite, Pee-wee.
I don't know, because it grosses me out.
When he guessed like 10 different sandwiches before, she's like, no, your favorite, egg salad.
So are you saying you've never eaten egg salad?
I've eaten egg salad.
Have you eaten egg
but I
salad
wouldn't
on a
wa- I-
sandwich?
I wouldn't eat egg salad on a sandwich.
I feel like we're talking a lot about food on this episode, but I keep having my mind blown. Toast some fucking bread and put some egg salad on it. Maybe with a little tomato and some lettuce.
That does sound good.
It's delicious.
All right. I'll go
It's a
do that.
deli staple. For real. I can't it's like telling me that you grew up an orphan, Tom.
I'm afraid the eggs are going to be worm eggs.
Well, the worm
Although
eggs,
if I get those,
we've established that worm eggs are delicious. And they make you superhuman.
You're right.
And they'll steal all your cutlery. So then you won't have to wash it. I made a strong enough case.
I just had deja vu. That was weird.
Maybe after this episode, I have wheat bread and tomatoes and a bunch of hard-boiled eggs in the fridge, and I can send you all home with egg salad sandwiches. Does that work for everybody? Do you like
My
relish
favorite.
or no? A little mustard, maybe some white pepper. Trust me, it's delicious.
Because Pete only allows white pepper in his
Yeah.
house.
Oh, I have like 7 kinds of pepper, all different colors. Some of them I put all into one mix.
You know, I'm colorblind when it comes to pepper.
You should.
Yeah. You know, whale captor defendant.
Okay, let's get this train back on the tracks
We're on
here.
hour 8.
Stop bringing up delicious food. I won't get distracted.
Okay, so they're trying to leave the sewers. Leela gets to the top of the ladder. She closed the manhole, decides she's going to stay. She wants to figure out why there was a shrine to her, basically, in
Yeah.
the sewer. So she does a swan dive straight into Lake Mutagenic.
Is that what it was called, or are you just adding that name?
What, a swan dive?
Lake
No.
Mutagenic.
It's Lake Mutagenic.
Really?
They call it that earlier in the episode. I
Oh,
believe.
shit. I didn't even catch that. All right.
Yeah,
That was a bold move for her to do, right?
totally. Then she splashes into that nasty toxic wastewater, and then you see the octopus come up, and you think that she's mutated, but she comes out unscathed. Turns out the octopus used to be a little blonde girl named Virginia.
She's like, ew. Like, if it was just a normal octopus, it would have been fine. But the fact that it was used to be a little blonde girl, she was grossed out.
Yeah. By the name, maybe. You never know. I just had some octopus the other night. And it was so good. Now, so what was surprising to me is the fact that they make this reveal that, well, number one, she doesn't mutate. So this is sort of like the foreshadowing big reveal that she's
Also,
actually a mutant. But
when in the beginning, when she's dropped off,
yeah,
it's the guy,
the warden.
the warden is like, oh, alien language. Well, you must be an alien.
Right, and so that's the part that I didn't understand. They're like, no one on Earth can translate alienese, but there's alienese signs all
Everywhere.
over.
Yeah.
And who is this Brainzilla that they're talking about?
I don't know, but I guess he can't.
I just feel like of all of the stuff that happens in this episode, up to and including Bender's magical chest cavity, like that's the most unbelievable part of the whole thing, where they're like, no one can understand this despite the fact that it's clearly like a daily language.
It's exactly, but
Well,
people can understand it because it turns out that Leela's mom wrote it because she studied linguistics.
Right.
So I don't know where that joke came from. And then the whole thing with the glowing nose thing could also do other things. Because why can't it not?
And the professor's indignance at such a, like, how dare you suggest that my machine would only do one thing? Like, I love it. He's really, I hope that when I get that old, I'm that just awful in general. I think I'm on track.
Farnsworth definitely has all the good lines in this episode.
Yeah.
Well, when Fry gets the letter from Warden Vogel, he says something like, "Oh, it's not worth your time," and Fry says, "That's impossible. My time is worthless."
The return of Honest Bender's dumping service or toxic waste removal, where he gets the contract to empty all of the spittoons in Little Italy, was, I mean, such a nice touch. But I don't spend a lot of time in Little Italy here. Are spittoons still a thing, or is that really just going back to like?
I didn't get that joke at all.
Yeah, neither did I. I mean, I laughed, but
I think
I
it's
didn't
just
get it.
they're
I laughed because it was something
gross.
gross and that they were he was dumping it on Leela.
Yeah.
And she's running through the sewers
Ew.
or whatever, and he's just there.
and just it's actually revolting. Like, even thinking about it in cartoon like form, it's such a gross thing. But I think the biggest thing that shocked me was the fact that they referred to Leela being only 20-something. Like 20-something years ago, she was left at this orphanage.
Yeah.
I
They're all
mean,
in their 20s.
I see. Leela
Well,
just
I mean,
strikes me
Leela
as being
and Fry are.
Fry. We knew was like 25, 26 years old, but like
I
Leela
think he's younger
seems
than
like
that.
really,
I think he's like 23.
huh?
Yeah.
And
And Leela's probably 25, 26.
she seems so much more mature.
Well,
I mean,
does it matter?
Yeah, when you write everyone else as a total moron,
well, yeah.
competency is going to come
Also,
across
why
as
can't
older.
you be 25, 26 and be more mature than other 25 or 26-year-olds?
Well,
You don't have to be immature.
no,
She's
no.
also a county certified space captain.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more.
She's had a
like-
hard life. She's had to take care of herself her entire life.
but it's more along the lines of like, I guess what it is. I don't know if any of you've encountered this in your lives. I think the oldest one sitting around this table by a decent amount, probably at least an Olympiad. And the thing is, when I meet people that are younger than me that are way more accomplished, which isn't hard because I fucked around for like a long time, it's totally unsettling. Like when you meet a doctor who's like, I think my last primary care physician was like 25, and it's like, so what drugs do you do? I'm like, first of all, you're the first doctor to ask me that. And two, like, fuck, like this, I don't want to have this conversation with you. You should be older than me and grumpy. And instead it was like just this young, friendly person.
skateboarded in?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, we go up to Taco Tano's all the time. I'm like, this is not, I just have my high blood pressure.
And it's a
medication,
woman.
please.
What planet am I on?
Right? So that's the sort of thing. Like, it just seemed like I figured Leela for like 33 to 36.
Wow,
Nah.
yeah, no way. You're like she's in her,
Really?
I would say mid-20s.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have to sit with that for a while. But she's also the least mutated mutant ever born, which that seems weird too, right?
Her dad is pretty normal, except for
His sideways mouth.
yeah.
He's
I
got
didn't even
a
notice sideways
one
mouth.
eye. Yeah, his mouth opens like
And he has
up
one
and down.
eye.
Well,
One
right,
eye.
there's-
yeah. But I mean, yeah, the only other like
Oh wait,
at least
doesn't
he has
he
human.
also have like 30 toes on each foot?
Oh, he might. Yeah.
That's on like a later episode. You
Huh.
find out.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's creepy. He also looked unsettlingly like Alcazar when they showed the pictures of him being younger. Did that occur to any of you?
I didn't think about that, but you're right.
Like,
Yeah.
And going back to whoever Alcazar really was, who's the shapeshifter, but like, I wonder if he somehow had knowledge or was just extrapolating that from Leela as like creating the archetype for her or something. Maybe he was a swindler to begin with, so it could have been all part of an angle.
Yeah. I don't know.
But then was her mom normal except for the purple hair and the tentacles?
And one eye.
And one eye.
I think so.
Was she normal except for the purple hair, the tentacles, the one eye?
Yes.
I mean,
yes is the answer to that question.
Well, I mean, so first of all,
they weren't just a foot,
What-
or they didn't have an arm growing out of their head, but
What's the point that you're trying to get at? I feel like there's a thing that you want us to
No,
get
no,
to for you.
No, there's
Okay.
not. I'm just the other mutants in the sewer all seem to have mutated into completely separate phenotypes. You know what I mean? Like they were. No one mutant was similar to any other mutant, and which was in fact maybe part of the problem now that everything's glowing and they can see how horrible they all look from each other. But with her parents, they actually seem to be very similar.
Well, I think that they
in their
have to
appearance.
design them so they both look kind of like Leela, so they can't go too far off the grid and have one be a talking squid and the other be like a bowling ball with a mouth. They also have to make them sympathetic looking as characters, so you have to retain a lot more of the big-eyed human aspects to them. Like
And then
if her dad was the leg, I think viewers would have been upset by that.
They get excited about a lot of things, but I get what you're saying from a design standpoint.
Right.
I mean, I guess the other
Well,
part
that is the reason why.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we can extrapolate from that is that like genetically they were similar enough in the same species that they were able to like reproduce biologically. But I just it seems like they seem to be pretty exceptional in the first place because they are so similar morphologically versus all other mutants that we've been introduced to. Where like from mutant to mutant, the variation is so great, and then there's this couple that are tentacles
that's
and
how
30
you're
toes
attracted
aside.
to somebody. You see something in them that you see in yourself.
That one eye and
See
the
that
purple
image
hair.
in the mirror, and you're like, finally,
Oh, and Tentacuru.
the version of me I've always wanted to have sex with.
Oh,
It's me with a wig.
actually, I've seen you wear a number of wigs, Zachariah.
Yeah.
and you're pretty
Yep.
fetching
You notice
in all
I
of them.
take off right afterwards because I'm all hot and bothered after I glance myself in a mirror.
Like this guy is something else. Excuse me. So I guess, and I know we're actually running a little long, and we've had a lot of side discussions. But the thing that I didn't understand, and I don't know if this gets explained at all, or if it's just sort of part of the canon that they take as a given. Why are aliens better than mutants? Like, what would have made it preferable for her to be an alien as opposed to a mutant in the grand scheme of things? Like,
It's just like caste system, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah, and the mutants aren't allowed to leave the sewers. I think that was established already in an earlier episode. They can't leave the sewers. They have to stay down in the nasty.
is that self-imposed, or is it just like
No,
so?
that's the law.
It's the law. Yeah, they're not allowed to be.
Yeah. Get back in the sewer, weirdy.
I mean, I get that part of it. It just seems like why couldn't more mutants pass themselves off as aliens? Like who's gonna check the
That
references?
is a good point.
Because her credentials were basically, oh, I just got this alien. He's
Yeah.
Because you
Letter.
probably have to have credentials to prove that you're an alien if you're an adult alien coming to Earth. As a baby, if they came down and dropped off a baby, there's no, that's why they wrote the note in alienese. So as far as a child, they could probably send it to Earth, but you couldn't go as a human, or as an adult mutant, because there would be no, credentials that you are an alien.
It'd be like Fry when he woke up and didn't have the career chip or something. Like he should have been tracked.
Yeah, that's what I think. They would know that it was a mutant trying to pass off as an alien.
So we've talked about leaving babies at fire stations and churches before. Do you think if you had a baby and you didn't want it, could you leave a note in a foreign language to throw people off the scent that it wasn't yours when you dropped it off? Would that still work?
You wouldn't really have to, though. I mean, why would you want to throw someone off the scent?
I mean, you could be a really awful person and want to give your child like
yes, I suppose you could do that.
A false sense of
I don't know why
heritage.
people would do it.
You could, but why?
Yeah, they're not going to track you either way.
Right, but if you left like a white baby with a letter written in Chinese,
You know,
like,
how would that help your case?
well, it wouldn't be your problem anymore. But it would
Right,
be
but
like,
I could do that without the note, and it wouldn't be my problem anymore.
right, but then would like
It's
if
a no questions asked thing. You drop a baby off.
they aren't asking. They aren't
You're
asking
creating
questions.
questions.
They're not going to raise the baby and say, "I guess you're Chinese," despite
What if the
every
note?
other.
But what if the note says that they are?
But they couldn't read the note.
Well, they could run it through Google Translate. This isn't the future.
That is true. This baby is Chinese despite how they look and their DNA.
Exactly.
You've got to trust me. The
Despite
note.
not being good at math.
Yeah.
Not-
And abandoning a child.
I'm just
Watch your Coke around him. Just kidding. Oh wow.
Oh,
that
boy.
really tickled you.
Pete just keeled over. R.I.P.
It's like a Faulty Towers porn joke. Wow.
I don't think writing a note would matter. You could
Okay.
write it in alienese for all they care.
Damn, son, you're on beer 4.
He's a professional.
You're all worked up.
Oh, I'm just about to get worked up.
So her dad's name is Morris. Did they say what her mom's name is?
Yeah.
Munda.
Munda?
Right? Is it Munda?
Muna.
I think it's
What is
Munda.
it?
I must have just missed it.
Where is it? It is Taranga Munda and Taranga Morris.
Huh. So it is. I didn't realize that was last name, first name. Okay. So I guess, is that a mutant thing or is that just specific to them? I guess you could name yourself whatever the fuck you
Or
want.
is it just the way that
I never
wiki is written?
I never understood why it was done
don't-
like that.
I don't
but
know
it was
why theirs is
Taranga Leela.
backwards.
Yeah.
Which is a reference to an opera, right?
Taranga?
Taranga Leela is like
I believe so.
somebody. I think Dan Miller or John Kay brought that up
Yeah.
at some point. But like, did they name her that and then retcon it to add Taranga, and now they've glommed this onto it? I don't know, and it doesn't matter, honestly. Just this was like watching an even more boring Truman Show.
No, because I mean the what was the name of the one in the wedding dress? That's named Violet. She's Violet, but
Okay.
you don't know what her last name is.
And
And Morris and Munda, you only know that it's Taranga Morris and Taranga because you know it's Taranga Leela, right? They don't actually say that.
yeah, but couldn't her name be Taranga and her last name Leela, and they call Philip J. Fry?
You're right. I don't know.
I don't know.
I'm curious.
Do
that's
you
all.
know? Text us the answer.
Yeah, or just explain it to us, or tell us about your favorite fast food.
Yeah. Or is there a big boy near you?
Yeah, or a Howard Johnson's or a White Castle.
Or does toxic waste actually taste like fig pudding?
I bet
With
it
a
does.
distinct aftertaste of toxic waste.
I once when
Just
I
like
was
White Castle.
Yeah.
when I was a very young child, I had a flashlight and the batteries started leaking, and I tasted the battery acid because I didn't.
Yeah.
It explains a lot at this point. It was not pleasant.
Did it burn your hands, or did you just stick your mouth on that
I just
flashlight?
stuck my mouth
Drink it like a shot. Okay.
Well, I mean, it was like seeping. It wasn't
That's
whatever.
several steps further than licking a 9-volt to see if it's got any juice.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Yeah.
like I was young enough that I thought it was like, oh, somehow I got ice cream inside my flashlight,
no.
and it looked like melted ice cream. I'm not making this up. I mean, this is just like shameful childhood secret number 363. And it did not taste like fig pudding. It tasted like burning, to reference another Ralph Wiggum line.
Yeah.
But never did that again. I've been cagey about putting batteries near my tongue regardless. I just got a voltmeter to do that instead. It's a lot easier and less burny.
And really, it makes no difference. There could be just the tiniest amount of juice left in that 9-volt, and it'll still...
Yeah, but it feels funny.
I don't like it at all. It scares me.
I can think of a number of other ways to make things feel funny that don't involve batteries, and 4 that do.
I hook up 2 alligator clips to my nipples and then to the 9-volt. That's how I tell if it works.
And you can tell based on which side gets harder, whether it's a good charge or a bad charge. The big twist was that it wasn't that they understood it was alienese, but it was written on sewer toilet paper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they
Squeeze
were
a
like
piece off
reading
toilet
this
paper.
thing, and they're like,
I like how it
And they
printed
have, like,
out on dot matrix. Why are they using a dot matrix printer
You know what?
in the year 3000 and whatever?
no matter what, dot matrix printer will never not be funny.
Yep.
It's
just so slow.
I can't name them, but I wouldn't be surprised if a number of my clients still have them in use in their. It's crazy.
We had them at Conrad's when I worked at Conrad's. Our invoices it was all dot matrix printers, and it would take forever.
And be super loud and annoying,
Mm-hmm.
like this show.
We are the dot
The show
matrix
isn't loud.
of dot matrix printers of podcasts.
It takes forever, and it's annoying, and
Funny.
There's a song.
thank you.
Yes, and funny. There we go. There's a song by the band Man or Astro Man that is, I don't remember what it's called, but it's just a dot matrix printer printing a file. It's just, that's all it is.
Do they manipulate it at all?
No,
to, like-
they programmed something and had it printed out, and that was the song.
I'll never be that creative.
It's not even musical. It's just a dot matrix printer.
Yeah.
Well, so you know how there's like highways where they do the grooved pavement, and not on the side for when you go off the side.
No,
but
no,
like,
no, yeah.
It's the rumble
It'll
strips
play,
that
yeah.
can play something.
Yeah, like has anyone done that? Like, has that been a thing? Because it would be like a Christo-sized art project to make that happen. But like,
I've seen footage that somebody put "Ode to Joy" on the road.
Is that Ford? Like, I think that was an actual Ford commercial.
I don't know. I know that they're trying to get something installed by the Rock Hall
really?
to play as you drive by it.
I hope it's Inagata Vita.
That's the thing is there's like
It's going to be AC/DC because we're in Cleveland.
It's not going to be Rush. I can tell you that.
is AC/DC Cleveland connection? Or you mean just
No,
the
just
classic?
everybody in Cleveland loves AC/DC for some reason. I don't know.
My vote was
Ohio in general.
for Iron Man just because
Yeah, that would be
everyone
good.
knows what it is in like 6 notes.
I'll get with my people at the Rock Hall and let you know
You
what
do.
your votes are.
I wonder if
They should make Dead Man's Curb, those rumble strips, play the funeral song.
they should make it. They should make
great.
it play Dead Man's Curve.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Man.
I mean, I feel like there's a huge missed opportunity. Like if you were driving into Columbus down to the Ohio State campus, like they could seed in like that awful theme song. What is it? An alma mater song that they sing where everybody gets all riled up. I mean, I know it's there. I've blocked it out effectively, but like, you could psych out the opposing teams they're riding in on their bus by playing
their
the
fight song?
Oh,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I mean this is the kind of shit that they do in the Scandinavian countries because they have money and they're creative and they believe art should be integrated into your life, like those glow in the dark highways that they've made. Have you seen the bioluminescent ones?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
They just throw a bunch of jellyfish on the side of the road.
Glow in the dark
it's slippery,
noses.
super slippery, but it looks cool as fuck.
Huh.
And then so I guess my last note was just that the romantic rain at the end was just Bender's spittoons.
Spittoons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
We got through it.
we get
guys.
to see there's still a little bit left because you get to see throughout the years Leela's parents, sticking their hands through sewer grates and leaving her a birthday present.
Yeah, you got the Pizzicato 5
and the
ending.
Really?
yeah, there's the
musical montage.
Child
Yeah.
Leela was doing her homework, and they put the cookies on the table for her, and
And she just eats them. She's not like,
hey,
oh,
where'd these cookies come from? Oh,
magic
well, I'll eat
cookies,
these.
whatever. I guess she was an orphan, but she seemed to have a pretty big and well-furnished room for being an orphan. Like
We don't know how many other orphans were in that room, though,
It looked like there was just one bed.
in that shot.
There's the nice vanity and the big mirror and everything? I don't know.
I don't
like
know.
her parent, those for being regular-sized people, like they seemed very limber and spry to be able to like climb through the grates like that and things. It's just like some
Well,
of
they're
the
mutants.
stuff.
You gotta
Mutants.
learn how to get through the sewers and know how to.
Maybe their
manipulate.
ribcage collapses.
Well, I would posit that sewers and a heating, ventilation, air conditioning system
Are not
two
connected.
completely different things. Exactly.
But
They're popping out of like air vents.
you're tearing this episode apart now. And
You're
ending.
ruining the
I know.
heartfelt ending.
Look. I actually liked the episode. I didn't think it was a great one, but like
It's not super funny, but it's got lots of.
Zoidberg doesn't even
Yeah.
have a line in it.
Is Zoidberg
my
in
God,
it
you're
at
right.
all?
No, he's in a deleted scene.
what happens? Tell us about the Zoidberg.
He says one line. I don't even remember what it was.
Probably funny though, right?
It probably was.
Oh, John Zoidberg, we love you.
I think it was like. I think the deleted scene is Leela talking about getting the award, and then she's like, "Oh, it's like no big deal, blah blah blah." But in your lockers, you'll find an invitation, directions, blah blah blah. And then I think Zoidberg's like, "Oh, I have nothing to wear," or something like that. So
It is interesting, like, because I'm watching a lot of series on Netflix at this point, and watching something that was on just regular TV. One, it's amazing how much shorter everything feels when it has to have even those 5 to 6 minutes edited down for commercials. But this episode, I guess, I like it fine, but I think it feels really rushed.
it does.
Yeah.
And if it had been something where it was made now, you could have had a lot more inserts of these mysterious tentacles coming in and leaving something for it. It feels like I wish this had been 2 parts, because the thing at the end where we think they're reading the history and then it's just the toilet paper
Yeah.
is so fast. And I think Futurama is such a smart show normally that felt like a weird cheat in terms of like
Yeah.
the writer's like, well, it's actually toilet paper. Because it doesn't make any sense that he would be reading her story. I don't know. I think I understand why fans like this episode so much, because it's very sentimental and it has that nice thing at the end. But I think it's kind of weak in terms of the plot.
It is. There's a
Structure.
lot of build up for something that should be really big, and then it's just like
end.
then the episode's over.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the mutants wanted to kill them, and then they banished her, but she didn't leave, and then there's no real resolution to that.
No,
It's like, oh,
she
all
kicked
right.
the one guy, and then that was it.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, well.
But why didn't he go? Oh, you didn't mutate when you were in there.
Right. Don't get me started on plot holes. That's my whole existence.
We're already an hour and a half in.
I know. I
We
got some
can't start
octopus
on-
to talk about now.
Can't start
Tom.
on plot holes right
But
now.
it does have the great line, it's nothing if you think it's something, you're a suspicious moron, which
Yeah.
is a great line. Worth it for that.
Oh, we could use a little more of that, just in general, I think. Less thinking, less suspicion. Just take things on their face. What could possibly go wrong? Thank you for coming on again, Zachariah.
You got it. I'm glad I didn't have to run out this time.
Yeah, I'm glad we got to talk about all different kinds of fast food.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. It's always something I'm happy to discuss. The thing that will eventually put the nails in my coffin.
Sure.
And hopefully the money in our pockets.
Yeah, well,
Rallies.
You can start the GoFundMe and blame it all on them.
Dear Rallies, please
Rallies.
sponsor our podcast.
If you have to eat, rallies.
I've reached out on
You
Twitter.
got it.
I mean, we should start doing that with a concerted effort.
Yes.
Well, I just saw you perform a couple weeks ago at Accidental Comedy Festival. You're often involved in a number of funny and fun things around town. What do you have coming up?
When does this air? When does it drop?
A week from tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, the thing that's always constant is first Wednesday of every month, Keep Talking, storytelling show at the Happy Dog. And I think we're continuing every other Tuesday at Hilarities, the Mike Polk Jr. show.
Awesome.
8 p.m. to every other Tuesday.
Actually, that show in particular at Accidental was one of my favorite
There's
shows
a lot of
this
strong
year.
guests on that show.
Yeah. But even when there aren't like a super deep bench of out of town talent, like just the folks that come on regularly are so funny. And Keep Talking is great too. I was really excited to do that show a couple months ago and glad that I didn't completely fuck it up.
No, it went really well.
But it was, it's
You were on another podcast?
No, I was on a live show.
Oh, a live show?
Yeah. I
Where was I?
I don't know. It was at the Happy Dog on the first Wednesday of June, maybe, or July.
Yeah, it was the summertime.
Yeah, but
I was washing my hair.
It's a just the one. It's a themed storytelling show. There's always a rotating cast of guests. You and Adam Richard host it. It's a really fun time. It's always like a really interesting, like the way that people interact with the themes and come up with sort of angles on it is just like fun to watch. So
yeah, we try to not get the same kind of story for every person who goes up. And it's not strictly a comedy show, but there are stuff that's funny.
Yeah.
There are stuff that'll put a tear in your eye.
It am smart.
Yep.
I think that the one I did, there was the story about the guy who he's got a citizenship now, but grew up as an undocumented youth in this country, and was like how he traveled around the country like in constant fear. He's like, oh shit, how am I gonna get on this plane? And he just played stupid, and it worked.
Yes.
All, except for that one time.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you're in the Cleveland area, or if you're not in the Cleveland area, it's going to be on the first Wednesday every month. Make sure you're here for that and come see it. Anywhere else people can find you on the internet?
Oh, that's enough.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay. I guess that'll do it for this week. Thanks for listening. You can find us at slurmcastpod.com. You can email us at slurmcastpod@gmail.com. They can send us texts and multimedia messages and
How much you like rallies.
or fast food chains we should look into, or call at 216-438-1077.
Extension 413-924-876.
Don't put in an
4W.
extension. Don't do it. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at slurmcastpod. We have a t-shirt shop on TeePublic where you can buy Futurama-themed t-shirts. And we will eventually get some money from that if you do buy t-shirts, which would be awesome. Or just, I don't know, PayPal us money or something if you want.
And turn this podcast off and go watch Free Willy 3.
Oh, rate and review on iTunes. And thanks for listening. Talk to you next week.